upside down cinnamon pecan cake.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for Yo-Yo Max 12.
Hello everyone, starting off with a 12 by 17 inch baking dish. That's kind of a jelly roll size or a half sheet pan size. I lined mine with non-stick aluminum foil. Then you'll add 2 cups of coarsely chopped pecans. And what I did is I put these in the oven and I baked them at 350 for about 15 minutes just to toast those pecans a little bit. But this is optional. So once your pecans are cooled, if you toasted them, you're going to add 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar and 3/4 of a cup of shredded sweetened coconut. And then just kind of blend it all together. I mean, you can do this in a separate bowl if you want and then pour it into the baking dish. But, you know, why dirty another dish if you don't have to? Then I'm going to sprinkle on 2 teaspoons of cinnamon all over. And then I'm also going to just spread that around a little bit. And then finally, you'll take 6 tablespoons of butter that's been melted and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract to that and stir that around a little bit. And then you're going to pour this and drizzle it over top of your base layer here. Now on to the cake part. This is 1 cup of salted butter at room temperature. Blend it up a little bit just to make sure it's smooth. And then you'll add in 3/4 of a cup of white granulated sugar as well as 1 cup of brown sugar. And you're going to blend that together until it is light and fluffy. Now you'll blend in 2 large eggs. The recipe says to do them 1 at a time, but I put both in and then blended it up until it was smooth. Then we need to add about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, more or less, to taste. And then 1/2 cup of sour cream. And 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon. You could put a little bit less if you'd like, but we have cinnamon lovers in this household, so that's why I put that much in there. Add 1 teaspoon of baking soda and then blend in 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. And as I was blending this, I was thinking to myself, this is a really thick batter. I wonder why it is so thick. And then I realized that I was supposed to add the flour alternately with 1 cup of milk. So I had to add the cup of milk kind of all at once here when the batter was already blended, and then I blended it together. But you know what? It worked out just fine after I blended it in. So no harm, no foul here. Then you're going to take this batter and you're going to spread it on top of your pecan and coconut topping that you put in there. Spread it out evenly, and then you're going to put this in the oven and bake it at 350 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Then let it cool a little bit, maybe 5 minutes or so, before you're going to invert it. Now you need to invert it onto whatever serving platter you're going to use. I just put a piece of aluminum foil on the top, and then I use a second jelly roll pan that I had as a serving dish, and then you're going to flip it over. And then I was burning my hands because the pan was still really hot, so I grabbed some oven mitts, flipped it over, and then could not lift the pan up because it was too hot. So I took a handy dandy butter knife, just lifted it up, and pulled it off. And there is the finished cake. Still hot. And you can see that most of the topping came off quite nicely. There was a few little pieces that stayed stuck, but that's okay. And here's what it looks like close up. That topping gets really nice and crunchy. It's delicious. Now, this is actually my second attempt. This is my first attempt. I actually didn't want a thin cake. I thought it'd be better with a thicker cake. So I did 2 8 by 8 inch baking dishes with this recipe. I ended up with 2 cakes. But the problem was that it took so long for that cake to bake that when you unmolded it, and you took a look at it, the topping was way overdone and was actually got black a little bit on the edges. The topping was way overdone, so it is better with the thinner cake. Here is the final result. It is a delicious, very crumbly, delicate cinnamon cake with a really nice, crunchy cinnamon flavored topping. Absolutely delicious. I guess I would call this more a bar than a cake because it is quite thin. But however you want to call it, I think you will like it. My husband of nearly 30 years is a cinnamon lover, and he's the kind of guy that will sprinkle extra cinnamon on top of cinnamon buns because he loves it so much. So I do quite a few cinnamon desserts. I put them all on a playlist on my channel if you love cinnamon and want to do some more, including these cinnamon roll blondies, which were a family favorite. Thank you so much for watching.